Zoom stock, ZM. This is the Zoom video chat telecommunications. They're in Silicon Valley in San Jose, California. Let's take a look and see what they have been doing. And let's get the S&P up here and see how this stock has been responding to the general contraction and the credit contraction cycle. So we get Fed. Where are we? Back here. So Fed 20, and then this was their crash during the crash, and this was their bounce off the bottom, and the continuation of the kind of bull move across after the crash of the S&P. And so they just didn't crash, and then they just waved up. So this is a really interesting net long looking stock through the entire crash. That looks somewhat like some of the oil tankers, and they don't have a 10Q in their balance sheet, but I just looked at their yearlies, and they have a bunch of cash. The balance sheet looks fine. And okay, so nothing really to note. It's just kind of waving. Yeah. All right. So let's get into some cyclicals and see if it's looking bullish or what looks like it's going to happen next. All right. So we are long-term bullish, looking to stay bullish. Dailies on the monthly cyclical, it's just waving in bull territory now, and it looks like it wants to wave up on the monthly kind of level, just bull waves. These are super bullish waves, and this upward move in bull territory is really bullish. So that's super bullish on both of the long charts. And then let's start zooming in on kind of the week over week look here. So this looks bullish and diverging a little more, staying bullish. And let's zoom in and see how it looks. And we're pushing up on the edges of the Bollinger Bands here. Yeah, pushing up, and staying bullish. Pushing up. And possible max divergence here, and kind of flattening out into a flag. And then let's look at what it looks like coming into close. Okay, turning over in bullish territory, so this could be looking to kind of halt the immediate bullish activity and sort of max divergence way back here, and potential to flip here, just kind of on the short term over the day trading, and coming into close, we flipped into close, and it doesn't look like it's diverging more. It looks like it's flattening out, and so that's kind of just bullish. Doesn't look like the bearish movement is really strong, and just general bearish movement into close, that's not that strong. And so let's get the S&P off of here. All right, let's go back out to the dailies and see the shape of this thing. So this is generally a very bullish chart, and just kind of neutralize the bull activity into close. Okay. And hourly candles. Yeah, so it looks like it wants to go up, and it looks like it's I don't know if this is unclear if it's trying to go up immediately or if it's going to kind of stall out here. And this looks pretty bullish. This whole thing looks pretty bullish, but it's not clear right now if it wants to turn up immediately. And well, I guess we'll get to see where it opens. But this looks like a flat top. and an ascending pennant here is that's a bullish kind of pennant, just from technical analysis. And those usually will pinch and then they'll pop pretty hard. Whoop. Just like that. Yeah, this looks like a bullish pennant. And let's see if there's anything else sticking out from the technicals on the small scale. Yeah, just kind of wild waving activity. And as far as just the waves kind of waving along this trend line, we can see we have a pretty good a pretty good trend line here. Let's see if we get a W bottom or anywhere to draw. Not really, huh? Hmm. All right, it looks like this. It looks like this trend line kind of started here. Let's try to get a. Yeah, that's not quite a W. Not good enough to really draw a bottom on this thing. Maybe somewhere like this. And that kind of makes sense here because these ones get underneath. And if we get kind of the same crossovers here on the MACD as we do on our trend line, then that looks like a good spot to kind of draw it, and we're above it. Okay, so this looks like we're slightly above our bull line, and it looks like a solid bull line that wants to continue. And it looks like it may want to go up a little bit more here. And so this is kind of the line that it's trending on, and it should continue to trend along this line, just on this chart. And it has been completely defying the credit contraction cycle so far, which is super interesting. This is one of the few stocks. I mean, it just did a slight pull down here with a huge pull down in most of the entire stock market, and then just went off on its own little thing when the stock market was recovering. So this is really interesting. But this kind of volatile swings probably has to do with the general S&P movements and the credit contraction cycle as well. It probably wouldn't have made these crazy huge swings without the whole market being so crazy. And the volatility has gotten pretty high on this thing. I mean, you can see the volatility on this. It's pretty swingy, but I mean, you can see how crazy the volatility has gotten, and it stayed really volatile. Oh, here, this is probably a better place to start this line. Let's give this another shot. Yeah, probably like that, where the V's are off of it. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we want that W underneath it. Okay, see this W here? This is how I like to draw my bull market lines. Is when you get these W bottoms, these bear trap shapes, the peaks of the bear trap will usually poke underneath. So we get a W here and here. These are contraction bull trap or bear trap shapes, and those are very good indicators of where to draw a trend market support line. And so if we can get this support line to chop the peaks off and get the top of the W, this little middle part of the W above, then that's good. And then this one is too rounded to really be useful. And there you go. So I think that's probably a better bull market line. And then we can see where we are along this line. Or that one. No, I don't know if I like that better or not. I think it makes more sense to react along this line, actually. That way it lines up with the MACD flips a little better. Maybe something like that. Or tags it, tests it, tags it, something like that. So anyway, this general direction on the bull market line, and we haven't gotten a good W to confirm this bull market line. But if this thing does get a peak and want to turn over and does contract down across this line, that could be something to look for as kind of a W reversal from underneath the line. And right now we are trying to get bullish. It looks like we're trying to get bullish. And just kind of watch the technicals and see if they get to a point where they look like they want to turn down. But right now it looks like it's just kind of bouncing along the bull side of this line, and looks like it wants to keep doing that. So this is a cool stock. And as far, I guess, as the divergence away from this line is, it's getting close to sketchy territory where it would want to make a move down, and it looks like it has been making a pretty sharp move down, sharp downs when it does turn. So probably long here off of this little flag, but if it gets up, that's a higher and higher risk to correct down hard. So bullish short term and bullish long term, but this waving pattern on the intermediate term is something to definitely watch out for. And that is Zoom chat, Zoom communications, and I guess I'll probably make a playlist for these tech stocks. I found enough of these recent ones that are popular that I should probably go ahead and make a small tech company playlist for these stocks that are kind of acting independently of the general contraction. They're like newer tech companies that are just starting to kind of take off right now. And Zoom is one of these guys. I just did Datadog and Fastly. Yeah, I think I might do Twilio. Okay, so yeah, I'll go ahead and make a playlist for these if you want to flip through all these videos, and then I have my financial education and the general stock playlist if you want to check those out. And this is not investment advice, and please, whatever, get in the chats and can talk about all this stuff. But this is a super aggressive chart for this crash, man. This thing just didn't even consider crashing in the crash. So that's impressive. Like this volatile down is the crash. Like it just kind of fought against, it wanted to go up, and the crash is just like pulled it. This is the crash, and that's crazy. Yeah. Okay. So it was going up here. Okay. So the crash started here. Yeah, and this is the crash. It wanted to go up, and the market just fought against it. So I think that the general market is going to affect this, and if we get up to a peak and the general market, especially the tech stocks, start pulling down, that's going to be a big risky kind of spot here to be careful with Zoom. And man, look at this thing. Just no, I will not crash, and I'm going to stay above my bull market line. So this is a hell of a stock, and I'll keep this on the hot list for sure. This is a really cool one to take a look at. And it's not, yeah, I mean, I guess this right here, this is the bounce out of the crash. So it just fired out, and then that kind of wave, and then up into this. So this thing has just been firing off, and it looks like it is timed pretty well with the general market. But it's just like crashing down above this line and then shooting off. And so yeah, okay, so we'll be tracking this week, tracking the tech stocks and everything. They didn't look like they wanted to turn over the weekend. Like financials look like they want to turn over now, and tech and sort of Nasdaq and stuff like that are still kind of resisting the downward move. And so we'll be tracking those and keep an eye on this thing. But when Nasdaq and tech, if they decide to come down, I think Zoom is going to be at risk and probably at a high point as well here. And so that is your Zoom update, and happy trading.